Welcome to your first day of really working in Adobe Premiere Pro. Okay, so here is my hard drive with my Baker wedding on it. So first we're going to create a new folder and name it Finished Files. And then create another new folder and name it Old Files. Okay, so now we are ready to open Premiere Pro. I've already had it, have it queued up here. So we know the very first thing that we want to do is click the Browse button. And I want my project to save in my Finished Files folder. And then I'll name it Baker Wedding and push OK. So the first thing that we're going to do once this opens up is that we are going to import our footage. And the way to do that, all you have to do is grab that folder, and I'm going to copy over everything except my two new folders that I just created, the old files and finished files. So unselect them. And then all you do to import is you just drag it from your folder and drop it right into the project, right into that project panel there. Now that all of these files are loaded in my project, the first thing that we need to do is log the project. Logging is just naming all the files. You're just going to look through and give them all a label. So I want you to look right here at the top of the screen. These are different editing views that you can use. Right now we're in the editing panel, but for logging, I want you to open this assembly panel right here. So this takes away a few of our windows. It expands the project panel a little bit, and it takes away the program monitor. This is a really good view for logging because it gives you a little bit more room up here to work with, and then your screen here to view the video is bigger as well. So I'm going to move myself down here so that I'm out of the way. We're not going to be using the timeline at all. Okay, so once we open up these folders, you'll see all of our files in there. Now, Premiere Pro is going to tell you a lot of information about these clips. The only thing that you're really going to need to really notice or think about is this frame rate. It doesn't even really apply to this project because everything's going to be shot in the same frame, but there are future projects that you could potentially work with that are going to have different shots, even shots within the same camera, shots definitely within the same wedding that are shot in different frame rates. So, but what I want you to do right now is just use your mouse and scroll over, or you can use your little thing down here and scroll over and find the log note. This is our log note. We're going to select it until it's blue and just move it all the way to the front. And then just make it bigger. So the log note is how we log the project. Back in my younger days, I used to just change the name of the file. However, that created a few problems, namely that I could no longer go back and put the files in the order that they were shot. I was having to go out, look in my original my file folder on my hard drive to see what order things were shot in. And so there is definitely value in keeping these numerically ordered so that you can go back and see what parts of the day maybe that you're missing. It is a good idea to keep them in order. So this log note just gives us the option to name everything while keeping the original name. So logging is really important in a lot of different aspects. If you just have all these numbered files, you have no idea what these are shots of. Every single time you want to find something, you're going to have to go through and just search for it. And that's going to waste a ton of time. So logging gives you the ability to just see what everything is. It's all laid out for you and you have it there ready. And another benefit is that you can use this little search bar right here and search for the exact clips that you're looking for. This is a good baseline for logging. However, some companies that you edit for are going to have a specific way that they want you to edit and that they want you to log so that when they get the footage, they can say, oh, I wonder if there's a shot of this, and then they can search themselves on their own process and their own way to do it. So just be cognizant that sometimes some people that you edit for you are going to be the only person to log, and no one else will care what you name things. And as long as you understand what it means, then that's fine. And some companies, they're going to have their own systems in place. So a wedding can basically be broken down into 7 different parts of the day. The different parts are details, getting ready footage, photo session, a first look, ceremony, cocktail, or reception. So each of your clips should start with one of those labels. That should be the first label that you give, the heading, as it were. After that, you want to be detailed in what the shot is of, but you don't want to be super duper hyper detailed, because that's just going to clutter up your log note, and that's actually going to make it a little bit harder. So let's take a look at a little bit of this footage. So again, this is a wedding that I shot. It was a family friend. So the bride and her bridesmaids got ready at this beauty salon. They were not from in town, and so they went here. So I got some establishing shots of it. So here's just the outside. There's me in the window. And then finally we go inside. Here's our bride. So all of this is going to be labeled getting ready footage, because even though this shot of the outside of the salon, you might say, oh, well, that's a detail shot, that's an establishing shot, but I'm not going to use this later in the film for a detail. This is only going to be used in the getting ready portion of the day. So I'm going to label this GR. That's just my shorthand for getting ready, is GR. So I don't have to type it out every single time. And then I'm going to say salon wide. And then here's another GR, getting ready, salon. And I'll label this as really what this is a shot of is the name of the salon. So I'll write sign, salon sign. This is the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Command C and then Command V to paste it back in there. It's almost the exact same shot. See, this is the trick with this wedding. I know this wedding because I shot it, but she had 2 getting ready locations. So all of this in the salon, I'm going to name GR semicolon salon, and then what it is. You want to be detailed enough, but not overly detailed that you're describing every single thing. Okay, so let's skip ahead. So here is a detail shot. This is a shot of the bride's dress. This would just be called detail dress. Okay, so then I'm sure we have several dress shots in a row. Let me see where these shots start. There's the salon. Okay, so here's the first dress shot. Detail, dress, and then I'm just going to copy this, Command copy, and then I'm going to name this wide. Sometimes you only have 1 or 2 or 3 shots of a dress, but because I have so many, I probably will want to specify what it's a detail of. So this I would name dress hanger or dress top. This one we have dress embroidery. So the dress, I'll name it dress flowers because I don't know how to spell embroidery. This is the waist. Here we have her shoes. This is another detail shot, detail shoes, detail flowers. This is the bride's bouquet. Be careful of naming anything flowers, because in a wedding day, there's a lot of flowers. There's the bride's bouquet, there's the boutonnieres for the groom, there's flowers in the ceremony, there's flowers at the reception site, all the bridesmaids have bouquets. And if you, sometimes you'll get shots of the flowers that are growing in the ground at the site of the reception or of the ceremony. So I would name this detail bride bouquet. And again, you're the only one that's really going to see the detail or the notes. So if you want to abbreviate things, as long as you know what you're saying. This is the bride's interview. So that is a label that I didn't give to you. Interviews are a pretty specialized thing. Not many people do them. And so this is, I guess, an eighth part of the day is that I would name it interview bride. So here is more getting ready footage. This is getting ready, but because this is at the ceremony site, I'm just going to name it getting ready. This is at the site. You know, this is a little bit nicer than the girls at the salon. You can see that the bridesmaids are already dressed here. And so we're just going to name that getting ready. So here is a term that we use a lot in video editing. It's called scrubbing. Scrubbing just means watching through the video quickly, just using the playhead to watch through the whole video to make sure that you know everything that's on it. The playhead is this little blue arrow right here. It just shows you where you are in your video and what you're watching. So again, we need to scrub through all of this footage. It's really easy to assume you know what this shot is of and then miss something because it wasn't labeled correctly. And so you do want to scrub through. You don't need to sit there real time, watch every single clip, but you do want to just make sure that you know what's at the beginning, the middle, and the end. Okay, so here we have the first look. Okay, so this is first look, and this is the wide shot because you're going to see the bride walking up. Behind him, nice golf carts in the back. And then this shot I'm actually going to delete because it's very short. So on your program monitor, this number right here shows you where in the video you are, the time frame. This one over here shows you how long the video is in total. You can see it's only like 1 second long. 1 second and 15 frames, and it's too dark to even use. So if there's shots that you know you will never use, then don't even worry about logging them, just delete them. Do that sparingly though, because you never know. You might want or need to use it, but that shot was so short and moving and dark. So I was just gonna throw that away. Okay, so here's a nicer shot, a nice slider shot. So after the first look, we have a photo session. So PS for photo session, and this is just bride wide. Okay, so then this is the bridesmaid. So I know I've looked through all of these clips. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna Command V, enter, and just paste. I know that all of those are couple shots. So you can see there's a lot of different kinds of photo session. So you just want to specify couple, family, bridesmaids, groomsmen, and party when the bridesmaids and the groomsmen are all together, because all of those you're going to use at different parts in your highlight film. They're all going to be used differently. So I'm going to skip down. Here we have some detail shots. Detail shots are basically just shots with no people in them. So this would be called detail ceremony. And then I am going to copy just this. Oops, scroll down. When you scroll down, even if you have something typed and then you like scroll down, sometimes it'll erase. So that's kind of annoying, but just know that that is a common thing. So detail ceremony, and then I'm going to copy it. And then this is ceremony site wide. This is an interesting shot because it's just a really close-up shot of a flower, but you can presume by what's before and what's after it that generally when people are shooting a wedding, you know, it's easy to kind of go from wide to tight. And so we have a wide of the arch, kind of a medium shot here of the arch, and then a tighter flower shot, and then another medium kind of tight shot, and then this super tight shot. And so a super close tight shot of a flower like that is not really going to be interesting unless you know what it is and where it is. So you would only use a shot like this in progression of wide, medium, tight of that floral arch. Okay, so then here we have our ceremony. So this I would just name ceremony, back, wide, 1. I'm going to copy that. 2, 3. Okay, so we have 3 shots of this back view of the ceremony. Okay, and so then as soon as the ceremony is done, this camera went to the reception. So this is, again, this is a detail shot. Detail, reception, site, wide. So we got some more details of the reception. And then we have more photo session. Photo session before the ceremony should just be PS couple. Photo session of the couple after the ceremony, I would name PS couple post, because the lighting is going to be different later in the day. It's going to be hard to use that footage together. And so depending on where you put it in your highlight film or in that creative edit, you're going to want different things. So make sure that you specify that it's post meaning post ceremony. The ceremony is really the pinnacle of the day. Anything that happens before that is just regular photo session. Everything that happens after that is post ceremony. Okay, so then we have more detail, reception, and then I would just name this shot table. So then this you would name detail, reception, cocktail in the background, maybe tables and cocktail. This could be a nice shot to use as a transition from reception details into some more cocktail footage, which we don't have on this camera, but we have other places. Okay, so then this is the grand entrance. So this is the beginning. This will be our first shot of reception footage. So I would name this reception. That's our main part of the day. Everything after this is going to be named reception. So this is, again, I want to scrub through. So this is all the grand entrances, including the couple's grand entrance and the couple's first dance. So grand entrance, first dance, and then I'm going to specify wide. So here we have the bride and her father doing their father-daughter dance. And now this is a subheading. I'm going to name this parent dance and then father, because I might specify in dancing footage or in cocktail hour or other parts of the day, I might want to specify this is a shot of the bride's father. So when I'm logging, I need to specify that this is the parent dances and her father's dance, so that when I'm editing the dances, I can just type parent dance and they all come up. So with toast reactions and with toasts, I do like to number them, because toasts can happen anytime through the night and have things in between. And so that is nice to have. So I'm going to name this Toast Reacts 2. And then we have our reception, semicolon, parent dance, mother. And then just dancing. So this is a tricky one because it's happening during the reception. So I wouldn't use it earlier in the day because it's so dark. So I would name it reception, but then I would also give it a sublabel of photo session, groom and mom, because they're not interacting. If they were interacting, if they were hugging or just talking, then I would name it reception, groom and mom. But because they're obviously just standing there smiling, posing for a camera, I'm going to give it that subheading of photo session. Cake cutting, when it's shot by 2 cameras, one camera is on their faces and one camera is on their hands. So I'm going to specify this is the cake cut hands shot. The bride threw her bouquet. And then what's this last shot is the exit. So we have reception, bride bouquet, and then reception. Okay. So obviously I didn't log every single note. I am gonna go back and log it, but I just wanted to give you a quick view of how to log, what it should look like, how to speed up that process. Again, copy and paste. If you have a lot of shots in a row that are all of the same thing, you can at least copy and paste the heading and, that maybe even the first part of the subheading. I want you to avoid the temptation to be lazy in your logging. Being detailed, but again, not overly detailed, but being detailed enough is going to pay dividends down the road. It's going to make your life a lot easier. So don't skimp on the time it takes to log. At first, it might take you like 2 or 3 hours to log a project. You might use 1 or 2 of your first time blocks to log, to watch the footage. But I promise you that as you get more used to it, and as you get more understanding of how a day is shot and what you're looking for, that you're going to be so much faster. You're going to need to pay attention a little bit less, and it's going to be way easier for you. I have one more quick note before we leave. If you find a shot that you love, 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 and you're like, I definitely want to use that, what you can do is you can right click it and then scroll down to the bottom and go to label, and you can change this color of it. I like to change the color to yellow because it's really bright and it just makes it stand out a little bit more. I don't recommend doing this to that many shots, but if there's a shot you want to use, or if there's several different shots and which one you want to use, then you can, again, right click on it, go down to label, and then you can select any color to differentiate it from all of these other shots. Okay, so that's it for this video. I am going to record myself logging all of this project. And if you feel like you would like to watch that and that you would like some extra help in logging and extra understanding, then feel free to watch that. And if not, I'll see you in the next lesson. Your action items for this lesson are to import all the files from the Baker wedding, to log all of the video files, and to watch all the other videos in this lesson before moving on.